Mishra, your sergeant at arms, and I'm pleased that you are all here. Please keep a note on the words you speak so that you don't hurt anybody's feelings. And please avoid walking in the center lane because there's a camera that's recording, and so that it's not disturbed. Use the side lanes to reach out to the stage. Please put your phones on silent. 30 seconds for that. I hope you're all done with that. And please avoid moving around when somebody is speaking on the stage. And do cheer for all the role takers and the speakers. So, how was your day? All of you? Great. I want a little more joy.
Great. Rainy. Awesome. No.
Rainy.
Despite raining, we are here.
Sunny. Yeah, that now that you're here, the day is a little more filled with warmth and it's a little more sunny here, even though it's evening. I hope we can have a small activity. I request you all to stand up, please. So, the activity is, if I tell you to sit down, you have to stand up, and stand up, you have to sit down. Put your left hand up, you have to put your right hand up, put your right hand up, you have to put your left hand up, which is, you have to do the exact opposite of what I say. Ready?
Yes.
I can't hear.
Yes.
That's great.
Means no, I'm sorry.
No.
Great listener, Rajdeep sir. Okay. Sit down. Sit down. Stand up. Right hand up. Right hand down. Left hand up. Left hand down. Right hand up. Not bad. Stand up. I just said stand up, not put your hand down. Sit down. Stand up. Now I'm getting confused. I hope you're all warmed up. Now then, for just the sake of Children's Day special, we'll have a tiny game. It's musical chairs, but with only one chair. Okay? I want 2 volunteers.
Ganesh.
2 volunteers. Any guests? Any role takers? Yeah,
Chetan.
Come.
Chetan. Yeah.
You're a guest, right? I want you to please introduce yourself.
Sure. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
This is Jeevan RK, Toastmaster from Bangalore Toastmasters Club. So, I born and brought up in the Bangalore, completed my studies from Christ University, and I'm the entrepreneur by profession. Thank you.
Thank you for volunteering. And we all know Alan. Okay, start. I hope there's a little space for more around me. I'll turn on the music, and you know the rules of the musical chairs, right? Right.
You
Can't
determine the rules. The guest has to allow the number.
Ready?
You have to turn that side.
Good.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Alan and Toastmaster Rajiv from Daffodils Club. It's great to see that you all still have that child in you. Never forget that child in you because we were all innocent, straightforward, so happy, unbothered about anything else. But when we grew up, we just forgot that child and stopped living and enjoying every second in our life. I request you all to please cherish that child in you and never forget. We have a Toastmaster who's going to continue from here. He loves being around children because it brings the child in him. And he loves his memorable moments way back when he was a kid, was fighting with his sister, listening to grandmom's bedtime stories. Who doesn't love that? Maybe today I'll go ask my parents to tell me a bedtime story before I go to sleep. I want you also to try that. If you are a parent, tell a bedtime story. If you are still young and you have a parent, ask for a bedtime story. Spend some time and then go to sleep. To continue and preside this meeting, please join me in welcoming our President, Srijit Kilakilor.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kirtana, for that warm introduction. My dear fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests, a very good evening to each one of you.
Good evening.
I declare the meeting number 1298 open. I can see few guests here today. Jeevan already introduced yourself, so other people please, I would request you to stand up. Guest. Yeah. A quick introduction of yourself. What's your name and what you do?
Hello everyone, my name is Chetal. I'm from Bangalore and I work in a hotel. So yeah, I'm aspiring to become and join this club, and hopefully one day I'll become a good speaker as well. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Nabila. I'm an architect and an athlete. I'm here to improve my speaking skills.
Thank you. Yes?
Hi, my name is Gurunraj. Currently I'm doing nothing, so I thought why not just give myself a start from this platform. So yeah. I wanted to join Toastmasters 2 years ago actually, but since then I've not been able to make it up. So today I decided to finally just let it all go and just go for it. So
Yes, there is no better time than this.
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Dear members, now I request on behalf of our secretary, I request our VP membership Priyanka to read out the previous meetings minutes.
A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Meeting number 1297 started bang on time by our Sergeant Armed Toastmaster Kirtana taking charge and introducing our presiding officer, our current VP membership, Hannah Victoria, who has always inspired us. Toastmaster of the day, Smita Roshi, took us through the meeting with a great introduction and transitions. First, we had Toastmaster Mahesh, who introduced himself to the club with an amazing icebreaker speech. Second, we had Toastmaster Varsha, who gave a great speech with the title, Tell a Story Through a Speech. And then, DTM Prakash Tamarkar gave us a great speech on public relations strategies. Taking over, our table topic master, Toastmaster Nazmi, gave the daunting session approachable and with relatable topics. Then came the evaluation, where our seasoned Toastmasters gave precise and encouraging evaluations. The general evaluator of the day was Toastmaster Ayyappa, with his tackle team gave a clinical evaluation of the entire session. We had around 32 attendees, of which 26 were members. The awardees were Toastmaster Preeti for the best tackle team, Toastmaster Smita for the best role taker, DTM Rajdeep Manwani for the best table topic speaker, Toastmaster Vivek Vijayan for the best evaluator, and DTM Prakash Tamankar as the best speaker. Thank you.
Dear members, are the minutes are in order?
One small correction.
Yes.
Anna Victoria is not the correct VP membership. She is
Yes.
correct VP education.
VP Education, yes. Sure, sir. This is mistake from Priyanka. It's okay, but it is not recorded in the minutes. Thank you for pointing it out. We all love children, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, tell me, why do you love children? So, Mama.
Because they are very innocent and
Yes.
the
Thank you.
truthfulness.
Yeah. And Alan?
I think they're fearless because they don't care about the consequences as much as adults do.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, even I love to be with children because I realize I can be myself with children because they don't judge you. Being true to yourself or becoming yourself is the happiest moment in this life, and it's a great feeling. As someone said, when we try to teach our children all about life, children teach us what life is all about. I completely agree because we can learn many things from children. My friend's son, Kailash, 7-year-old, who is also my neighbor, is very talkative and his English accent is exceptionally well. So, I decided to converse with him in English to improve my English. One day, to surprise him, I gave him this. His face brightened up, his eyes lit up with curiosity, and he took it from me and he started saying to this. Wow, this is so cool, Sriju Mama. What is it called? Kaleidoscope. Kailash, it is called kaleidoscope. Sriju Mama, what is it called in English? Kaleidoscope, Kailash, it is in English. No, Sriju Mama. It is called kaleidoscope. Kaleidoscope. You can search in Google, and he made me to search how to pronounce in Google. And this kid is very smart, and he struck me with his quick thinking. Once, 2 days back, he came to my home, and as I mentioned, he is very talkative, so I understood he is not going to stop. So I gave him some work. I told him to draw a picture for me. So he said, Mama, what should I draw for you? A beautiful scenery, Kailash. A beautiful scenery. And sincerely he did it. After 10-15 minutes, he gave me this. He gave me this picture. A bright sun, and so greenery, road, and 2 members speaking. One fellow is asking for a help, and the other fellow is agreeing for it. So I appreciated it. Wow, Kailash, super! It's amazing, fantastic. How did you learn to draw such a beautiful picture? He felt very happy. I could feel that he felt really happy. Then I told him, but there is still some mistake. See, this fellow is asking help, right? But you mentioned HLEP instead of HELP. So he took it from me, and in fraction of a second, spontaneously, he replied me that, Sriju Mama, this person doesn't know how to pronounce help properly. I know it. That is what children can mesmerize you. They are the magical music of this world. And I always love the most to spend time with children. And if you ask me, the second best place, of course, Toastmasters. Because here we have that encouraging environment, isn't it?
Yes.
So here, this is really helping me to find out the real me, or trying to truthful to me myself. And Toastmaster is the best place or only the place I can exercise or practice to become myself. And that is the new dimension I found in Toastmaster. With that note, I would like to introduce the next person. He is a budding Toastmaster who is a fourth year engineering student, aeronautical engineering student. He loves to travel with his bike. As his name says, he has a big heart to help others. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome Toastmaster Vishal.
Good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
Thank you, Srijit, for that amazing introduction. Children's Day special. When I read the word children, the first thing that comes to mind is the immense confidence they have. I remember when I was young, my father, after he returned from his foreign work trip, he had gotten me a jacket, a Superman jacket. I was really happy. I wore it and I started running up the stairs. My mother stopped me and asked me, "Why are you running so fast?" Can anyone guess what I said? Exactly, I said I will jump off the building because I am Superman. Although that sounds very stupid, I like that confidence that I had. It was amazing that I thought that I could be Superman. I could be anything I wanted to be. But as we grow up, we can say that society conditioned us to lose a little bit of that confidence, or we can say that responsibilities got us down. But we need to understand that there is a child within all of us, and we need to harness his energy and become Hatshu. And there was this one man who dreamed that everyone should have the confidence of a child on the stage. This man was none other than Rajdeep, the founder of Toastmasters International. What started out as an amazing idea today is a collection of 16,600 clubs in over 49 countries with over 4 lakh members. I'd like to ask everyone a question. Does anyone know which is the second oldest club in India? That's right, it is our club. And with over 90 members, it is one of the biggest clubs in Bangalore. Now, for the benefit of the guests, let me explain how a typical Toastmasters meeting proceeds. First, we have the prepared speeches, where the members who have an already pre-prepared speech, they present it and get evaluations on it. Second is the ever-exciting table topic session. Just thinking about that makes me freeze up like Bangalore did yesterday. And the third session is the most important session and is the evaluation session. Now, the general evaluator. Now this person is like the Watcher from the Marvel comics. He sits and observes the entire meeting and gives a good review of the entire meeting with his Tiger team. The general evaluator today, when I asked him, what is it that you're reminded when I say childhood nostalgia? He said he remembers flying kites with his friends and cycling races and birthday parties. When I asked him why did he join Toastmasters, he said he wants to reconnect with the stage. I'd like to introduce the general evaluator for today, Toastmaster Ganesh Bhai. Woo!
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishal, for this introduction. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and all the guests.
Good evening.
As a general evaluator for today's meeting, my role, like Mishra aptly summed up, is to observe the proceedings of the meeting, observe the minutest of the parts, and also the nuanced aspects of the meeting, and give valuable feedback and inputs so that we can all together help each other to accelerate our public speaking and leadership journey. In this regard, I will be assisted, or rather, I will be joined by a set of excellent evaluators and a terrific tackle team. Let me introduce my tackle team. Timer for today's meeting will be Toastmaster Rajana. Toastmaster Rajana, may I request you to explain the role of.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and eagers. So, as a timer, it is my duty to record the duration of the entire meeting. For prepared speeches, the time limit is 5 to 7 minutes. So, I'll be signaling the speakers with these cards. So, I'll hold up green card at 5 minutes, yellow card at 6 minutes, and red card at 7 minutes. For table topics, the time limit is 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll be holding up the green card. At 2 minutes 30 seconds, yellow card. At 3 minutes, the time limit for table topics is 1 to 2 minutes. So I'll be holding up green card at 1 minute, yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds, and green card at 2 minutes. For speech evaluation, the time limit is 2 to 3 minutes. So I'll be holding up green card at 2 minutes, yellow card at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and red card at 3 minutes. Over to you, Chitra.
Thank you so much. And our counter for today's meeting is Toastmaster Suma. May I request you to read out?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I'll be noting down vocal pauses and catch words. I don't think our speakers today will make me to note down. And I'll be submitting the report at the end of the meeting to the general evaluator. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. And the grammarian today is Toastmaster Chaitra. Toastmaster Chaitra, may I request you to read out the.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As the grammarian for today, I will be watching out for good usage of grammar and not so good usage of grammar. I will also be watching out for people who use today's word of the day, which is chutzpah. For example, I will give you a sentence. The teacher was a little impressed and also angry by the chutzpah that some of our students displayed. So I hope to see all of you use the word of the day for today. Over to you.
Thank you. And finally, the listener for today's meeting is Toastmaster Nestor. May I request you to read out the.
Thank you. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. You all agree that being a good listener is as important, if not more, than being a good speaker. And one of my roles today is to listen keenly to what people are saying, and I will pile up my questions for the end to check who's been listening and how well you've been listening. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. Maybe all give a round of applause. That's it. I'll hand over the stage back to Toastmaster Vishal and we'll come later for the general evaluation. Wishing all the speakers and role takers the best. Thank you.
Let us begin with the first session, the prepared speeches. I would like to call upon the first evaluator, Toastmaster Alan, to give the speech guidelines.
As with life, learning never stops at Toastmasters. With that in mind, good evening, fellow Toastmaster toddlers. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn about different communication styles and identify his or her primary style. The purpose of the speech is for the member to share the impact of his or her style on others. Over to the Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alan. The first speaker today is a cross-functional leader who works at Walmart. He joined Toastmasters to realize his dream of being a public speaker. His favorite quote is, "If you are always faced with new situations, it means you are living a life of growth." With the speech title, "Communication works for those who work for it," I'd like to introduce Toastmaster Rajiv Mishra.
How many of you know the mission statement of Toastmaster International? Let me remind you, we empower individuals to become a more effective communicator and leader. And my today topic is related to the effective communicator. Very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
So, first thing which comes in mind when we see this topic, what is the communication? The word communication is originated from a Latin word, communis, which means something common. So the communication is a two-way process to exchange the information, emotions, and data between two of and multiple people around us. Then question comes, what is the communication style? The way we interact with someone, that is known as the communication style. And to become an effective communicator, we have to first identify ourselves, what is our communication style. So Toastmaster International give a framework where you can able to identify your communication style. It helps us to utilize that in various communications. According to the framework, there are 4 styles: direct, initiating, supportive, and analytical. There is no wrong and right style. Everyone has the value. But I identify by following the framework, I have initiating style of preference communication style. So 2 years back, I was in a meeting. Hey, hi team member, how you are? Do you know why we are here today? We are here today to come up with some idea, a new way of working in this pandemic. I know you all are enjoying the time with your spouse and children at home, you are working from home. But the situation is totally different. We all have to come up with some idea which is going to help us, make us more effective working from home. Have you observed what I was doing? I was just trying to engage them in a conversation. I am trying to show them I am friendly with them. I was increasing them. So this was nothing but it was the initiative style of communication. If I go a little bit back in 2014, when I was completed initial 6 months in my current company, one day I met my manager, Mr. Alex. I have been enjoying working here, but let me tell you one thing very frankly. The type of work which I am doing, I feel it is not exciting for me. It is not at the level as per my experience. And if I will keep working like that, I am not seeing myself into the next level in the next 6 months or 1 year. What I have done? Very straightforward. I have some goal and clearly stating now. And this was nothing but it was direct style of communication. In a response, what my manager told me, hey Rajiv, I am really happy you are coming with your concerns directly to me. And really love when someone try and someone challenge themselves for their career growth. So don't worry. I am here, we both will work together. We will come up with some plan and even I will help you to grow in this organization. What? He's impact. He's showing the behavior of empathy. He's trying to be with me. So it's that supporting the style of communications. And the fourth and the final one is analytical style. And I want to take a very simple example. If you have attended the business meeting for our club, and you must be so when we presented the finance data and budget. What get discussed there, right? All the numbers, how next quarter plan is going to be look like, how was the previous quarter plan. It's all fact, everything around the numbers. So this is all the analytical data, right? So that's communication, is like analytical style of communication. So these are all the skills which we can use, utilize by knowing our own style and knowing whom we are interacting. But on top of that, the most important thing, the word which we use in the communication, the way we deliver the word. So if you are able to find any common grounds with anyone, anywhere, at any time, whether in a personal life or professional life, you can become a great communicator. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajiv, for such an amazing speech. Next, I would like to call upon the second evaluator, Toastmaster Alok, to read out the speech guidelines.
Good evening, everyone. The speaker is attempting level 2 project 1 of the PAR presentation mastery, which is understanding your communication style. It was the same as the previous project, where he is going to be talking about the different styles of communication and the one that he prefers. So, those are the guidelines. Good luck to you.
The second speaker joined Toastmaster, like many of us, to improve his communication skills. And when I asked him, what is the best memory from your childhood? He said when he got his first cycle, when he was 12 years old. Over to you, Toastmaster Manjunath.
Once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are, less proud. Let's discuss about communication styles tonight. I remember it was September 11th, just a couple of months ago. It was my wife's and my 10th wedding anniversary. It was a weekend, but I couldn't really be spending time with her because I had a workshop, a digital marketing workshop that I was conducting over the weekend. She was very upset. She wouldn't talk to me the entire day. At dinner, I decided to talk. We started discussing about this. And I listened very carefully to her concerns. And then I decided to really look at the things from her perspective. I realized how terrible a husband I was at that point. But more importantly, I wasn't judging. I remained calm, quiet, and really heard what she had to say, her concerns. And later, I said, I'm going to make this right. Okay? I'm going to make this right. I will make it up to you. She said, okay. I survived that night. A couple of days later, actually on Tuesday, we decided to go on an outing. So I kept this a secret. I kept it a secret to go on this outing. And on Monday when I broke the news, she was excited and I was happy for her. So we decided to go to Bhineshwari Resort, which is about 100 kilometers from Bangalore. Once we were there on Tuesday, there were these amazing adventure activities, very exciting. We had to climb a tree, walk the rope that were tied between trees, zip through a 400-meter zip line. Very exciting. The moment I was thinking about doing all that, that was exhilarating to me. For my wife, Geeta, it was scary. She was like, hey, I don't think I can do this. You go for it, I'll cheer for you. I said, Geeta, the trees are not even tall. The ropes that are hanging are less than 10 feet. The safety gear that they've given us is really top notch. There's no chance you'll fall. And even if you fell, I promise you, you'll not get seriously hurt. I'm going to be with you. I'm going to be with you. So hold my hand, let's walk. Let's climb that tree together. We did. She participated. The last activity within that adventure activity was the scariest. We had just 2 cables across a river. We had to hold the cable and really slide like this from one tree to another. Again, I was super excited. My wife was apprehensive. She withdrew. She said, I'm not going to do it. Now, as we observed, there was this young girl, the one who was calling Shiju Mama, for example. That age girl just did that with ease. She was able to slide to the other side within minutes. I told Geeta, if she can do it, you can do it. I know you can, you got this. Come on, hold my hand, take my hand, let's do this. We did it. We successfully moved to the other side. It was wonderful. Now later that evening, there was bonfire, and there was barbecue and dinner, and it was fun. Those people who were fellow participants in that adventure activity, they were also there. So I invited them. I said, come join us. Let this be a family dinner. Join. We got to talk to each other. We socialized. It was fun. By the end of that dinner, I even got a digital marketing consulting deal, which was awesome. So you might be wondering, what does this have to do with communication styles? Everything. Now there are 4 communication styles. Okay, and I'm going to make it super easy for you to remember with an acronym. Would you like that? Say yes. Yes, thank you. It is SAID, SAID. S stands for supportive communication style. A for what? Can you guess? Can you guess it? We actually had that answer just before the speech.
Analytical.
Sorry?
Analytical.
Analytical, very good. I. Initiating. B. Very nice, good. SAID, SAID. Those are the 4 communications. Let's go back. Let's rewind the story a little bit. Okay, let's scan what happened. When my wife was really upset that I couldn't take her out for dinner that wedding anniversary night, I listened to her and I showed empathy. I offered an amiable alternative to go on this outing. When I did that, what did I do? I showed the supportive communication side. Right? Now once we were there and she was apprehensive going up or climbing up the tree, I showed my other communication side, which was analytical. I told her that the trees were very tall and the maximum height is about 10 feet, and it's not going to be hurting at all. So I used logic there to convince her to take action. Same with the initiating. If you think about it, I invited the guests to join us, have dinner with us. That was initiating. And finally, when my wife was terrified of walking the cable or sliding through the cable, I said, you can do this. I showed competitiveness and I motivated to take action. SAID, supportive, analytical, initiating, and direct communication styles. Okay? Now, these are the 4 different styles. Each one has their own, and we all use different communication styles during different situations. The key is to understand that there's no better or a higher communication style than what is there. Some of us are dominant on certain styles. Again, the key is to determine what your dominant communication style is. By doing that, you'll be able to communicate better, you'll be able to share information in ways better than you do right now. There it is, SAID. What communication style are you employing when you talk to somebody? Supportive, analytical, direct, and initiative. Okay. Thank you very much. My name is TM Manjunath, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manjunath, not only for helping us understand communication styles, but also for giving me a new little item for my bucket list. Now, I would like to call upon the third evaluator, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan, to read out the speech guidelines.
Yeah, good evening, Toastmasters. The speaker is attempting a project from a Pathways Manual, which is all about the managing time. The purpose of the project is to observe your own time management pattern. It's over to you.
Thank you for that. The third speaker is a senior member of the club and has been a Toastmaster for 14 years. When I asked him, what is the fondest memory that you have from your childhood? He said it was playing cricket in front of his house. It's an honor to introduce the distinguished Toastmaster, Dr. Rajdeep Manwani, sir.
It was March of 1894, and it was a routine game of baseball between two American teams, the Baltimore Royals and the Boston Red Sox. There was a small altercation between the players which turned into a fight, and all the players got involved fighting with each other. Soon the fight spread to the stands, and the fans of each other started a pitch battle. And one of the fans set fire to the stands of the Boston baseball ground. What ensued after that was one of the worst man-made disasters in the history of mankind, the Great Boston Fire, which consumed 107 buildings and nearly 78,000 people. All because of one single emotion called anger. Anger has been defined in the Webster's Dictionary as a feeling of frustration, irritation caused by a non-fulfillment of an expectation or by something which is really or supposedly wrong. But why is anger so dangerous? Because when you get angry, you release a hormone which is called neuroadrenaline, which is just like an acid which burns up the cells and the vessels through which it goes through. And in fact, 7 out of every 10 persons who suffer a heart attack have some pent-up anger. 60% of all people who have blood pressure have some anxiety or anger disorder. You increase your chance of getting acidity by 90% if you are an angry person. This was given by the Indian Medical Journal of Research. That's why anger is just one letter away from danger. Just act the D. But the question arises, how do we overcome this anger? Let me give you some techniques to overcome this emotion called anger. The first technique is called, I'm not going to give you the technique straight away. Let me tell you an incident. A few years back, I was at a restaurant and there was this man who was shouting at the waiter, "Hey waiter, the air condition is on, it's so cold, switch it off." The waiter said, "Yes sir." After a few minutes, he shouted, "Hey, the room is getting too cold, please switch on the AC." You again switched on the AC, "Yes sir." "No, switch off the AC." Like that, he asked the waiter to switch on and switch off the air conditioner nearly 6 times. And every time the waiter said, "Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir." After a few minutes, when the waiter came to my table, I asked him, "This man has asked you to switch on and switch off the AC nearly 6 times. Are you not getting angry?" "No sir, not angry sir." I said, "Why? How are you managing it?" He said, "Actually sir, air conditioner is not working for 3 days sir. I'm just going up and down sir." And that brings me to the first technique, which is called dynamic acceptance. We get angry because we are frustrated. We do not accept things as they are. The waiter accepted this man is just like that and he continued with it. Don't you get angry when your son or daughter comes up to you and say, "I've got only 50% or I've failed in the exam." Accept the fact that there is something called heredity. They will go according to you. You have to accept the fact, and this has been reiterated by several researchers, including that by Charles Spielberg at the University of Pennsylvania, where he says, the more you accept facts, the lesser is the chance that you get angry. The second technique will be narrated after a small incident. There was this lady who went to a mall and there was this girl who was 7 years old who was next to her. She saw a teddy bear and she screamed and she shouted, "Mommy, I want this teddy bear! Mommy, I want this teddy bear!" The lady just stood next to the girl and said, "Relax, Anita, relax. Calm down, Anita, calm down." There was a man who was passing by and he said, "Oh my God, you're such a wonderful parent. You're so amazing. If I had a daughter like this, I would have slapped her and made her go home and understand the facts of the matter. You are so relaxed, you're so calm. In fact, your daughter Anita should be very lucky to have a mother like you." The lady looked at the man and said, "Who told my daughter's name is Anita? My name is Anita. I'm telling myself to relax and calm down." And that brings me to the second technique, which is called logical self-talk. Several researchers have said that when you take a deep breath and when you're feeling angry, if you just keep repeating yourself, "Calm down, relax, just keep calm," the chances of you getting angry become much, much lower. Coming to the last technique. The last technique is something called as cognitive restructuring. Cognitive restructuring is a technique whereby you restructure your problem and say that the problem or the anger is not caused by the external situation, but what I feel inside. Imagine you are sitting at the table and your wife brings you a cold glass of water and she spills it on you. "You get angry, you stupid, you're so clumsy, I don't know why I got married to you." Imagine the same situation, you go to your neighbor's house and the neighbor's wife brings a cold glass of water and spills it on you. "Oh, it's okay, fantastic, no problem. Just give me a blanket and wipe it off." Both the times the water fell on you. The situation was exactly the same, but you got angry in the first situation. Was it because of the situation or was it because of you? It was because of you. The external circumstances cannot make you angry. What makes you angry is what is within you. If you squeeze lemon, what comes out is lemon juice. If you squeeze oranges, what comes out is orange juice. If you have bitterness and anger within you, that's what will come out when you get angry. So just understand the fact that through logical self-talk, through dynamic acceptance, and through cognitive restructuring, we can tame this animal of anger. If you blow off your fuse, you have to stay in the dark. And the right temperature in your house is not maintained by a good air conditioner or a good heater. It's maintained by a warm heart and a cool head. Thank you so much.
As always, that was a great speech by TM Rajdeep Manwani sir. And thank you sir for giving us such great tips to control our anger. This reminded me of a quote. We may not be able to control reality, but we can control our perception of reality. There's a small announcement. The link for the voting of the best speaker is up on the group. The code is 1298. Please do vote. Now we will have a break for 10 minutes and we will meet again for the second session.
Good evening to the Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
You have just heard that temperature of the room cannot be increased or decreased by the AC or heater. It is maintained by cool, warm heart and cool head. So don't worry, the temperature is not going to change here. You will be relaxed when coming to this stage. And I just remember my childhood when I was a child. I was so excited when coming from school to home, and after getting ready, I was ready for the play, some playing games, not just playing football or cricket, but playing some different games like flying kite or fishing on the pond or or playing marbles. So all those things are so excited. I still remember those days. It was so funny and so memorable. I'm sure that those days, if you remember, that will give you more energy and more enthusiasm for being as a childhood. So today we'll have a topic, and for the benefit of the guest, just to tell you that table topic is a session, impromptu session where we will be giving a topic and you have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes, and that will help you to fire your neurons, right? So it means you will improve your thinking, right? So be relaxed and just record your best memorable day of your childhood. I'm sure that you will enjoy. So first, I would like to call the total topic for the speaker Toastmaster Vivek Vijayan, and the topic is memorable happy birthday party in childhood. Memorable happy birthday party in childhood.
Oh, memorable happy birthday chocolate party in childhood. Yeah, there was one child's party. At that time, I mean, I'm pretty slightly okay. I'm slightly dated, more older than what you think. So the cakes were not very. the birthday cakes were not very apparent. I mean, there used to be a few chocolates that gets distributed. So yeah, that used to happen. So one of the birthday parties that I remember was that of Mamata, if I remember. She was like maybe 5 years younger than me. And when I went to that birthday party, yeah, there was chocolates. So the problem is the waiting time of kids. Okay, the entire things to eat are kept there, chocolate or biscuit or whatever that is, you know, and nice smells. And these guys are waiting for her to get dressed up in that whatever that nice golden dress. And now the rest of the kids are just staring at that. It's such a horrible situation. I felt like, when will it start? And then from that day onwards, whenever I did that was so much in my memory that whenever I did a birthday party of my son, we did not have the display of eatables all the time before it started. You get the cake in, and as soon as the cake comes, cut it. And as soon as the cake gets cut, distribute it, and get the ice cream, etc. Don't display all the things very nicely. And traumatic experience that I had several years back, I don't really pass it on to the other kids. I hope the same thing happens to us. Thanks.
Next topic, I'd like to call the guest Chetan. The topic is my first crush. My first crush, Chetan.
When the TM said to stay relaxed and chill, my heart did the complete opposite of that. So, but the topic is my first crush. My first crush was back in when I was in 2nd grade, and I joined a new school called Twinkler School. So it was a new school, and in that class, no one knew anyone there, and I didn't know anyone. I was a shy, introvert kid who sat in the end and was just wondering like what to do. And the teacher wasn't there. The class was in complete chaos, and suddenly there was one girl with a pink hairband sitting there who wore like a uniform, was very prim and nice and very cute looking girl, and all the guys were actually looking at her without actually looking at her, so which was something interesting. So all the guys know, and then the class teacher comes and she's like, this is a new campus, so I'm going to take each and every one of you to go on a tour around the school campus. So as soon as what she did was she asked all the guys to stand in a line and all the girls to stand in a line. So, and it had to be in height order. Then it happened so that there were equal number of girls and guys in the class, and I was the tallest guy in the guys. and she was the tallest girl in the girls. So, and for some reason the teacher was like, all the girls and guys hold the girl's hand for some reason, and that was like the first encounter like between me and the
I wish I could also be such a because being as the tallest guy, but I didn't have the opportunity of studying in co-ed school. So next speaker is Toastmaster Priyanka. My experience in sitting first bench in the school. My experience in sitting in the first bench.
My experience sitting in the first bench in school, it is one of the most dreadful experiences. I'll tell you why. So I always had this problem that if any teacher tells something, I just keep smiling. So even when the teacher is angry, I just keep smiling. So one of the teacher, I still remember, it was my physics teacher who I really loved. And I don't know what mood she was in that day. I was just smiling. I had this habit of just smiling, and if someone shouts at me also, I just keep smiling and smiling and smiling. And at that day, it so happened that my partner, my benchmate, was trying to find out something. She couldn't catch up what the teacher was, probably explaining at that day. And she was asking me the question, and I was just trying to tell her about what the teacher was explaining. And the teacher thought that I was not concentrating in the class, and I was giggling with her. So she asked me to stand up on my bench, and she started shouting at me, "You have no manners," and all these things. I just kept smiling instead of having a serious face. So she kind of, shouted at me so badly that I felt so insulted that I just went out of the class and I went and complained to the principal, which is a very weird thing which we usually don't do it. And if I'm not wrong, I think I was in the 7th standard then. I don't know why I behaved that way, but this is something I'll never forget. Because probably I was too hurt that the teacher that I really loved and looked up so much, she blasted at me in front of everyone. So that was something which I can never forget. This is my first thing that I can remember being a first bench, and after that I never sat in the first bench. I moved to the last bench. This is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanka, for sharing your experience. Now I would like to call the next speaker. The speaker is guest, Jeevan. My excuse when the homework is not done. My excuse when homework is not done.
So, good evening everyone, this is Jason Arcade. Homework, back to school days, we need to remember so many things about homework. But one particular teacher that I always hated because she was giving a lot of homework. There was no Sunday to us, only for the particular subject, that is maths. Okay, you know what I did? I was so angry at it. One day I just cut the petrol pipe when they was in the petrol parking lot, so that guy has that my teacher took a lot of time to get repaired, and he went back to the home. Later on, he was searching for the guy who did this, but all the friends are behind me because everyone are against him because of the homework, right? So on that day, we didn't get the homework because he was finding the culprit who did that. So I was very happy because that day we didn't get the homework. Thank you.
Next speaker is Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza. Your topic is my lunch break.
I have asked for another copy.
My experience of going to school by bicycle.
Yeah, my experience, Mr. Rajdeep is here. My experience of going to school on a bicycle. So it happened in 1962-63, the first bicycle, and I was in the second year of high school, 9th standard in Chikmagalur. The distance was too much, nearly 5 to 6 kilometers, and my dad gave me a new bicycle. I was very happy to ride it and to show to my other friends also. Yes, so sometime later, a relation of ours came to our house. I used to clean the bicycle every day, polish it, wash it, polish it, and that person commented about this. My dad said, I purchased it very recently, and Robinson is taking care of the bicycle very well. And that guest said, just wait, Mr. D'Souza, my father. Wait, Mr. D'Souza, in a couple of days, it will all be over, and you will have to do it. You know how much angry I was that day. That made me a challenge to continue as long as I was in high school, to maintain that bicycle in a very good condition. Still, I remember that one. On account of that guest, friend of my father, who put me into an angry mood by challenging me. Thank you.
That technique was actually a treasure for us in the childhood, but I can remember. Thank you, sir, for sharing your experience. Now I would like to call Toastmaster Hannah. Your topic is the best good time with my pocket money.
A very good evening to everyone. It's great to see you all. The pocket money, first pocket money or anything? Okay. To start with, I never got any pocket money. My parents, my mother never believed in giving me pocket money, but at the age of 13, I got to handle money. I got to handle money in a way that I had to handle the entire monthly expenses. So I got to understand the value of money. I had to make a note of every item what we bought, whether be it vegetables or be it grocery, and then I had to tally it and I had to show it to my brother. Every week I had to show the accounts to my brother and say this is what we spent for the house. So that way I learned how to, handle money and the importance of money. So he used to give me, if in case he gave me say 100 rupee in the beginning of the week, and then I was able to save some money, say 10 rupees or so, and he would give me 1 rupee from that and say, okay, since you handled it all well, so this is your takeaway. So I've not had in terms of I've not bought anything big, but value of money was definitely learned at a very, very young age. So I thank the family for that, for giving me that environment to learn at a young age. Thanks.
You will be the best finance manager at your home. So next speaker would be guest Naurina, my favorite school teacher. So give her a round of applause.
Good evening, everyone. I'm super nervous. Sorry, I have to say this. My heart is pounding, and yeah. So my favorite teacher, obviously, was my sports teacher. So sports has been very, very dear to me, right from as long as I can remember. My lunch break was sports hour. I never ate because I didn't want to waste even 5 minutes of my lunch hour eating. I wanted to go play. So I would always look forward to my sports hour or my sports teacher. So back in school, I did a lot of track events. I ran. I was an athlete back then, and then there was my PT master Sunil who trained me then. I used to look forward to him every day, and sometimes science classes and maths classes would become sports classes, all thanks to my PT teacher. Yeah, thank you.
Now I would like to call next guest, Guru Raj. Please come on stage.
some water, please. Hello everybody, this is my first time on a stage after a very long time. I think the only time I've been on stage is when I had to dance or sing. So that's my first time speaking on stage. And about the rainfall, I've always loved rainfall. I've always loved to get wet in the rain. So I believe when I was a child, even then I think I would have loved it, but I cannot really remember any childhood memory of me getting wet in the rain. So yeah, I think for now I don't have anything much to say. So yeah, thank you all for your.
So next I would like to call another guest, Suzanne. Your topic is my favorite, my James and Poppins.
My James and Poppins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, good evening everyone. My name is Suzanne. Just like Raj, this is my first time ever attending a Toastmasters event. Gems and Poppins. It kind of brings back memories of that colorful, wrapped up little packet that we used to get. I remember, I think it used to cost 5 rupees or 10 rupees, I can't, maybe lesser than that. 10 rupees was too much back then, I guess. I remember the flavor, which was a pink color one, and it had like a strawberry, raspberry-ish kind of taste to it, and that used to be my favorite one. Within that, there used to be another one, which was a green flavor. I think a green apple, I can't remember exactly. It used to be my least favorite. It also reminds me, I know you mentioned Poppins, but I don't know if you guys remember this other candy called Ravigon, which we used to get in school. In the 90s at least, we used to have it in school. I think it used to be like 25 paise for one, and you know, if you got pocket money, like you asked Henna, I think about pocket money, it used to be like a treat. 1 rupee, go and get 4 of those candies, and I'd like hunt for the ones which were maroon color or the pink color ones, right? So for me, Gems, Poppins, Ravigon brings back really fond memories of pink tongue by the end of the day when I go back home and my mom wondering, what were you eating? I gave you like dosa in your dabba, but why is your tongue pink, right? So brings back very fond memories, and my mouth is slightly watering, so I'm going to have to go and look for some Gems and Poppins now. Thank you everyone.
I would like to call another guest. A man can come on stage. I forget your name. Your topic, yeah. Your topic is my favorite bedtime story.
Hello everyone, I'm Rupa, and this is my first time, and my favorite bedtime stories, we used to read Amar Chitra Katha, and sometimes my mom used to teach us some stories, she used to read out, that would put us to, me and my brother and sister, so that we can go to sleep early, and also so that we don't get any nightmares. So that was the kind of memory I have. Very few stories. I don't recall much about that, but other than that, we used to read the Tinkle and that kind of stories which we used to read, but only few my mom used to tell sometimes when we were scared, just to make us sleep better. That's it.
Thank you. This is the end of the session. I'm sure that the temperature of the room has not changed because you have displayed the warm heart and full head, right? So, sure that one thing that I would like to take away from this session, from entire session, that childhood is something that you never forget, right? We can't go past, but always cherish the beautiful memories. And when you are in a very depressed mode, just recall your childhood memories. Definitely it refreshes you. And Toastmaster is the place that always gives a chance to retrace your old memories, not your childhood but also your adulthood. So that is the best part of this Toastmaster session. And now I would like to hand over the session to Toastmaster of the day, Mishra. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kamlesh. That was an amazing session. And just sitting there, you reminded me of memories that I didn't even know I had in me. So before we move on to the last session, the evaluation session, I would like to remind you all that the link for the best table topic speaker is on the group. The code remains the same, which is 1298. You will have 5 minutes for you to cast your votes. 5 seconds to cast your votes. I'm sorry. Okay, I hope everyone has cast your votes. Now let's move on to the evaluation section. To take us through the evaluation section, I will call upon the general evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Ganesh.
Thank you. So friends, we'll straight away start slicing and dicing the entire meeting and see what all went well and what are some of the things where we could pay a little more attention so we have ample opportunity to shine as a better speakers and better leaders. So I'll straight away start with Toastmaster Keetana, who is the secretary. Sergeant at Arms. I came here at 6 o'clock just to take aerial view as to whether how are things going, and she was on the task, absolutely immersed in writing on the board, keeping everything pretty spick and span. For that, she must have started I think 4:30 or 5 to reach here on time. And notwithstanding rain, the Bangalore traffic, to demonstrate that kind of dedication is amazing. Thank you so much, Kirtana, for that. Very well done. And as soon as she completed all the tasks, she was here warmly greeting people. And it's the first time I'm meeting her. And I thought, she may not know me, but nice of her to know. She introduced, she knew me, so I felt a bit relieved that I'm not that old now. So very reassuring that way. So excellent thing on that. If I were to offer you a few inputs, I think at the beginning you seemed a bit nervous. Not that it was palpable, but I could see that tinge of being a little tight in terms of movement. So maybe you could have smiled a bit and be at ease. Okay, it's all yours. You are setting the meeting. You are setting the stage on fire. So that kind of excitement and energy actually help others to take the meeting on the same line. So that may be something you could have taken care of. And when you did that game, I think you could have been a little more in control because I think once or twice you seemed a little out of sync in terms of instruction and what you expected of the audience. Those things, if you can do, visualize it a little bit earlier into the road to see, okay, how I have to really carry forward. That gives that confidence when you really engage the audience. So if you could take care of that and possibly limit it to 1 instead of 2, that gives enough space and time for other role takers to carry on with it. That said, I guess you really did a fabulous job in setting the stage for the meeting and really ensuring that everything started on time and I think we are doing pretty well on time. So thank you so much, and can we give a loud round of applause for Next to come on the stage was our beloved president, Toastmaster Rajdeep. Whenever I look at Toastmaster Rajdeep, one thing which comes to my mind is this phrase, being comfortable in one's own skin. He's so authentic, he never tries to be somebody else. He's so genuine, he's absolutely comfortable being himself, never tries to be somebody he's not. And that has been his hallmark right from the day I have been seeing him. And today was absolutely no different. He was just comfortable giving experiential talks, which he's so good at. I mean, he always has a story for any topic. So we all know him as a good storyteller, and today was no different. And the way he actually had those kaleidoscope and drawing and the humor also in that whole thing made it so engaging and relatable. I was totally hooked to his story. Amazing, Srijit. Very well done on that. Maybe a couple of points if I can say. When DTM Rajdeep pointed out that mistake in terms of the small typo in the minutes, you did not have been so apologetic or defensive. I guess you could have just said, fine, we note it and we'll correct it. You seem little taken aback, but I guess I mean these are the opportunities, honestly, in this role to really say that it's okay. I mean, at times things go wrong, and these are not a life-threatening mistake. So it's okay. You could have just let it go that way. And maybe I have one more suggestion of what the kid offered you in terms of language. So I think when addressing guest people, maybe it could have been a little more polished that way. So that said, I guess you were in your elements as always, and as the president of this esteemed club, you have been doing a fantastic job for the last 5 months or so. So amazing, and thank you so much. Can we give it up for in between we had the standing secretary, Priyanka, read out the secretarial report. Again, Priyanka did a fantastic, neat job in terms of giving a crisp and complete report of the last meeting. Good job. If I can offer one suggestion, just do a self-review so that you can point, you can really come up with those small typos. With that, I guess, I mean, that's the only thing I could notice, otherwise you are pretty flawless. Thank you so much. Again, our applause for. Okay, next was the surprise package, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Mishra. And mind you, he was doing it for the first time. So when I met him, he was a bit nervous and he was pretty humble to say that this is the first time I'm doing, so a bit nervous. But what was remarkable to see was the kind of preparation and the sincerity which he was oozing. I mean, he had nice 2 pages where entire steps or whatever the way he had planned to carry the session was totally written, documented, and that we could actually see on the stage as well. Absolutely flawless in terms of calling out the role takers. It was brilliantly done, and that entire preparation was absolutely visible for us to see. And what was really heartening for me personally was the humor what he introduced at a right point in time, especially when he had to introduce the table topic speakers. I was wondering why this guy is wearing jacket all of a sudden, but then the way he connected it to the table topic session. I mean, for somebody who's doing it the role for the first time, you have your own nervousness to cope up with, and even in that, if you can think of innovative ways to introduce a session, that itself shows the kind of thinking and preparation which he has really put in. That's really amazing, and he had a nice introduction for all these speakers. So I think that's something I really liked about the way Vishal went about the whole role. Given that he's doing it for the first time, maybe a couple of inputs I can give to Vishal so that he excels when he takes up the role next time would be, I guess the questions were repetitive, as in it is general tendency to templatize the introduction, because you have in any meeting as a Toastmaster of the day, you have to introduce 5 or 7 speakers and role takers. So typically you have one janta message, if I can say, one general message, you send it to everybody, have a generalized response. Maybe take a little bit of effort to see if you can customize the question so that every time you introduce somebody, there is a sense of curiosity. Otherwise, when you introduce somebody and with the same set of questions, then automatically when third person is there, you think, oh, okay, again this question is going to come. So that little bit of surprise element, if one can inject, I guess that will make introduction interesting. And in few cases, I thought he was in a hurry to complete. Maybe if he could slow down and take that time, that would have made the entire introduction little more deep. So that's it. I guess for somebody who's doing it for the first time, I think he really deserves a huge round of applause. Next, we had a stellar lineup of speakers. First to come on stage was Toastmaster Rajiv, and his speech is being evaluated by Toastmaster. May I request Toastmaster to come on stage?
Good evening, fellow learning toddlers and the main learning toddler of today, Rajiv in particular. So firstly, I'd like to start off with the purpose of his speech. Now, the purpose of his project was to learn about different communication styles and identify his primary style. The other purpose was for him to share the impact of his or her style. So now let's see, basis these purposes, how you fared. Now, Rajiv, for the large part of it, you were focused on your style of communication, which was fantastic. You were well attired. You had a very powerful opening. I didn't know, so many people didn't know what the Toastmaster introduction was about. Being an effective communicator, it was informative. It had a good intrigue. It had good intrigue about it, which I think was great. You had great eye contact. Everyone felt one with you, right? You kept looking towards the left and right. And very, very importantly, you covered the stage really, really well, which I thought was very impressive. Now, having said that, Rajiv, when you started your body of your speech, you introduced your style of communication and then you went into examples, right? If I were you, I would have gone into an example, create intrigue about what I'm trying to say, and then, kind of say, can you guess what I'm talking about? And then someone says, initiate. The learning is much better and it makes for, a better speaking and the listening experience. Voice modulation. You introduced your boss, where he said, I will help you grow. Just that if you change your voice while saying it, it just adds a layer to your speech, which I think would be great. And lastly, towards the end of your speech, you delved into other styles of communication, which was okay, but you delved into examples as well, which I felt diluted your speech as a whole to a little extent, because one of the main purposes is for you to share the impact of your style on others, right? While with your boss and others, you were talking about their style and their impact on you. But having said that, Rajiv, I think with the strong points that you have, and since you are the initiating type, you are well on your way for greater things. Best of luck for your future speeches. Over to the demo.
Thanks, Toastmaster, for that evaluation. And Toastmaster Rajiv, I really liked your speech. And what I really liked more was the comfort on stage. You were absolutely comfortable delivering speech. The eye contact was spot on. Only one minor point, if I can highlight you, if you could just take care of a little bit of language issues in terms of, at one stage you said, if you can if these things, if you could just take a look at it, then it will add that much needed polish to the speech. But for the wonderful speech and a nice evaluation, let us give a round of applause for both Rajiv. Next speaker was Toastmaster TM Manjunath, and his evaluator is Toastmaster Lok. May I request Toastmaster Lok to come on stage?
Good evening, everyone. Toastmaster Manjunath in particular. Thanks a lot for educating us about communication styles this evening. I would want to evaluate your speech in two sections, the typical sections, delivery and content. Now, as far as delivery was concerned, you were confident right from the word go, the way you walked on stage, the way you were dressed, you seemed very relaxed, and the presence on stage was a very confident one, so that was a great way to start. And again, your body language, you use gestures well, you use movements well to demarcate the space between the space where you were standing and where your wife was standing, just to bring out the two characters. You did that well, and there were a lot of gestures when you described the adventurous activities that you had at the resort. So again, from a body language and gestures perspective, full marks to you. The voice modulation was also very apt, right from the point you discussed your anniversary to what the emotions that you went through at the resort. I think it was all well done from a voice modulation perspective and a pauses perspective and a vocal variety perspective. I think full marks to you on the delivery. And finally, the other part when it comes to deliveries about how you use the stage, I think that was very well done as well. To use the podium well, to have different areas marked out for where you were standing, where your wife was standing, and you moved front and back, paced well. So all in all, delivery-wise was spot on. Maybe one thing I would want to say is that the stories seemed a little stretched. The pauses seemed a little too long while they were building. They seemed a little too long, and I felt overall it took a slightly longer time conveying the story to us. That was as far as delivery was concerned. Now coming to the content, I think you used an excellent technique of conveying the message through a story. And the best part was the story was a personal story. It was not an anecdote from elsewhere. It was a personal story, and that got us hooked. And that helped you convey the message well throughout. And again, you use an acronym, so something said is something we'll all go back as a takeaway from today's speech. So what are the 4 different communication styles? I remember said, and I remember what are those styles. So that again was very well done. Now, if I were to suggest an area of improvement, probably I was just wondering if you could have elaborated more on the communication styles. I believe you took about 7 minutes and 28 seconds, and out of it, about 6 minutes were focused on the story itself. Now, there was a time when I was wondering, okay, where is he going with the story? It came to that point, but you conveyed the message well. Maybe a mix and match, maybe a better utilization of time, say, to elaborate the communication styles better. Now, why I'm telling this is why I felt that you explained the initiating communication style, the supportive and the analytical styles well. You could have done a little bit more justice to initiating and direct form of communication, where you just finished it within a line saying, okay, I called them over, and that was initiating communication, and I said, okay, you can do it, and that's direct communication. Maybe you could have just elaborated a little more on initiating and directing, and you did a wonderful job on supporting and analytical, so that could have been replicated. So all in all, I really like the way you conveyed the message through a story, and a personal story. It will stay with us, and the acronym will definitely drive the message home when it comes to styles of communication. Thanks a lot, Toastmaster.
Thanks, Toastmaster, for that clinical evaluation. Toastmaster Manjunath, I must say your confidence levels on stage was amazing. Please keep it up. If I can give one suggestion, is couple of times I guess your audio and video was not in sync. I think once when you said when you couldn't take your wife, you said how terrible, and you were smiling. I know it was unintentional, but maybe that's one thing you can keep in mind. And also when you won that $1 million digital marketing, you said it's awesome, but it just went as a passing reference, and emotions were not really coming forward. So maybe if you could just keep that in mind. But must say it was a wonderful speech and a brilliant evaluation. Let us give it up for both. Next to come on stage was TM Manjunath, and his speech is being evaluated by Toastmaster.
Good evening, Toastmasters. The speaker today taught us the ways and means by which you can control anger. So let us see the areas in which the speaker. There are a couple of areas which we all can feel the speaker did remarkably well. Number one, a brilliant story to begin with. He spoke about a story about a game between Boston and Baltimore, and the aftermath, the arson which happened, which claimed a lot of lives. So brilliant story to begin with. And the second one, the transitions. The transition from a brilliant story to statistics, and the body had some references about some 3 incidents, and then a fantastic closure. So the transition was pretty smooth. That's number 2. And 3 incidents he spoke about which were filled with lot of humor, peppered with humor, and then 3 messages, important messages on how you can control anger. And 4th, a strong conclusion, a conclusion which forced even our table topic master to use the same closure twice during his table topic session. So that's how powerful your closure was. And finally, the voice modulation you had. The way in which you enacted those incidents that brought us live. So all these points were very well done. If I need to pick and choose any specific area of improvement, I can think of only one. One is these are content heavy speeches. That means anger, you had 3 humorous stories. The story will linger in our head for a longer time and we will have a strong conclusion which we are going to take back home. But those 3 messages that you spoke about, which are really content heavy. One is the dynamic acceptance, the second one a logical self-talk, and the third one a Latin kind of a cognitive restructuring. Right? So suppose in case if you need to ensure that the people take home these 3 messages also, you need to reinforce that idea. That means, let me talk about the first step by which you can control anger, which is dynamic acceptance, and then come out with the instant. So this is what dynamic acceptance is all about. Accept that there is a concern and then cool down. And the second one, logical self-talk. So this is the second most important step by which you can control anger. And then you would have spoken about that particular incident where Anita was cooling herself. And the third one, again, cognitive restructuring, incidents, and then cognitive restructuring. Reinforcing what you wanted to convey again would have made the speech even more impactful. Otherwise, very, very difficult to pick any specific areas of improvement. A wonderful speaker, Rajdeep. It's a privilege, pleasure, and honor to evaluate your speech at this point in time. So, all the very best for your future speeches. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan, for wonderful evaluation. TM Rajdeep, I know this, you took up this speech slot last moment. I guess there were a couple of dropouts and you had to fill in. Possibly some of these stories we have already heard in the past. And knowing your legendary capabilities, I think next time when you're forced with such situation where you have to give a speech in a day or two's time, how you can push yourself to come up with something refreshing. And I think that is not asking for too much, given that you are such a prolific reader and you absorb content from multiple sources. I guess that's definitely not asking for too much, and I'm pretty much sure that even in such a short span of time, at a short notice, you can come up with something as phenomenal as you've always been. I must say it was a wonderful speech to understand the impact of anger and how to subdue it. And also thank you, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan, for clinically evaluating such a brilliant speech. Let us give it up for both. Now let us, I think we need to vote for the best evaluator, and the code is 1298. We'll give 30 seconds. Okay, thank you. So next was table topic session, and Kamlesh really did a superb job in terms of selecting the topics which were absolutely experiential. I mean, the topics were so good that you had to really struggle not to speak for 2 minutes, and that is the victory of a table topic master. How you can put them in comfort so that they really don't feel that heat. I'm sure when you come on stage, there is a little bit of tentativeness, that nervousness will be there. However, if you give a topic, they don't have to overthink and just can flow. I guess that gives at least that initial momentum, and then that carries. And what it really does, is it gives that innate sense of confidence in speaker that fine, this is something, it is not something difficult to chew. It's okay, it may not be that easy, but I can do well. And that is something a hallmark of a good table topic master, and you did a good job, Kamlesh, on that. And also I like the energy levels throughout the session. You maintained it pretty well, given that it stretches for 25-30 minutes. You got to ensure the energy levels are high, so that there is absolutely interest in the audience, and that's something you really did nice. And you also had nice concluding part whenever the speaker completed the speech. You had nice little things to say for everyone. So I guess that also something which was very crudely done. Thanks for that. I must say you really managed the entire table topic session very well. Let us give it up for table topic master. Now let us deep dive into the tackle team to see what is their observation and what has been. Let us start with the timer, Toastmaster Rajanna.
So the timelines are as follows. Coming to prepared speeches, Toastmaster Rajiv took 5 minutes 55 seconds. Toastmaster Manjunath took 7 minutes 28 seconds. DTM Rajdeep took 6 minutes 45 seconds. So coming to table topics, it was all about guests today. So out of the 10 table topics we had, 6 were guests. So all were well within 2 minutes. So then coming to evaluation, we had Toastmaster Alan who took 3 minutes 5 seconds. Alok Simha 3 minutes 17 seconds. Vaidyanathan 3 minutes 5 seconds.
And about other oh, thank you so much. Requesting Toastmaster Suman to give her outcome report.
Yeah, thank you. Toastmaster Kamlesh, a few points on Mishra, then Chetan, Priyanka, and Susan, Rupa, few corrections from the end. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. May I request Gramadian Toastmaster Chaitra to let us know her observations.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ganesh. Today we had some great usages of grammar in this session. For example, we had speakers who said broke the news, exhilarating, apprehensive, altercation, ensued, brings back fond memories, intrigue, and delved into. There are also certain usages that could have been improved. For example, someone said recall about that, which could have been recall that. If you able to could have been if you can. Had gotten me a jacket could have been had got me a jacket. I didn't notice anyone using the word of the day today, but I hope they will later on.
Thank you so much. Now over to listener for today's meeting, Toastmaster Mishra.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Hello again, everyone. I have a couple of questions. Who started the meeting by appealing to the child in Kirtana? Perfect. Who loves being around children because it brings out the child? Srijit. Who loves children because they're fearless? Alan. Good one. What is the name of the child who drew the scenery? Kailash. And what is the word the character didn't get to? Okay. And what jacket did Vishal's dad get for him when he returned from a trip? Superman. Brilliant. Got to make this a little tougher, yeah? What style of communication was in play when that employee in Rajiv's story told his boss that he wasn't happy? Direct. Which Toastmaster gave us a nugget of managing matrimonial conflict?
Manjunath.
Whose fondest memory was playing cricket in front of his house? Rajdeep. Brilliant. Anyone recall the 3 ways to manage anger?
Cognitive structure. And cognitive
restructuring and logical self-talk. Perfect. We know DTM Rajdeep said warm heart and cool head. Who else said it? Kamlesh. Perfect. Who prevents others from going through a traumatic experience that he went through as a child at a birthday party? Who had the most innovative excuse for figuring out a way not to get additional homework? Jeevan. Perfect. Who maintained his bicycle because of his father's friend? Robinson. Do you remember which two baseball teams were playing when the great Boston Fire? Boston Sox in Baltimore. A couple of trick ones. When do you tell the world who you are? So it was a quote that Toastmaster Manjunath used. When you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. And what is the mission statement of Toastmasters International?
To empower people, developing leadership skills.
To become effective communicators. I guess we're putting together empower individuals to become effective communicators and leaders.
Maybe last one.
And the last one, what was the 3 most nostalgic memories of Aji?
Flying kite.
Flying kite? No. Flying kite? Cycling races?
Cycling.
And birthday parties. Thank you. Back to you.
For making me realize how inattentive I was. Thank you so much. With that, we come to the end of evaluation session. I must say, I truly enjoyed watching the proceedings of the meeting, listening to some of the speeches, observing the role takers and the evaluators. It has been a privilege to be general evaluator for this meeting. Thank you so much.
So we are nearing the end of the meeting. I don't know if today morning when I went to college and came back if I learned anything or not, but now I did learn a lot from this one session. Now, the voting link for the best vote taker is up in the group. Please use the same code, which is 1298 to cast your votes. I'm sorry, there is also the link for the best tag and team player. It's in the same. Okay, I hope everyone has cast their votes. Now, that was a wonderful session. I would like to hand it back to the president.
Thank you, Vishal, and congratulations to you for first time doing TMOD in such a wonderful way and ending the meeting on time. Thank you so much. I would like to thank all the speakers, role takers, and evaluators. Without your effort, this meeting wouldn't have been possible, and sincere thanks to each one of you. And one announcement, tomorrow is our area level contest, and I request everyone to attend the contest and encourage our member contestants. It's online, it's 3 o'clock, evening afternoon 3 o'clock, 3 to 6. And our table topic speaker, Toastmaster Sulega, and evaluation contest speaker, Toastmaster Aaron. So requesting everyone to from behalf of all of us, we have to thank Toastmaster Sulega for that wonderful, delicious snacks. Please. Now it's time to announce the winners for today's meeting. The best Dragon team player goes to Toastmaster Nestor. And the best role taker goes to Toastmaster Ganesh. And the best evaluator goes to Toastmaster Vaidyanathan. And the best table topic speaker goes to guest speaker Susan. And the best speaker goes to Rajdeep. So with that, I adjourn this meeting 1298.